Donald Trump is facing an unprecedented level of public backlash, and it's happening all at once. On a single day, at multiple stadiums across the globe, crowds are turning against him loudly. From London to New Jersey, arenas are filled with boos, chants, and protests. So, what's changed? Why now? And more importantly, why should you care? Well, it's not just the boos, it's the message they send. The world is fed up. But here's where it gets truly eye-opening. What happens when the whole world turns against a sitting president? Stick with me to see why this moment is different. This isn't a one-time thing, it's a pattern. The boos, the protests, they're happening everywhere, and not just in the US. Let's take London, for example. At the O2 Arena during an NBA game, the crowd erupted during the national anthem, turning their anger toward Trump's administration. But it wasn't just about the anthem, it was the message: leave Greenland alone. Why would a crowd in London, thousands of miles away from Washington, feel the need to shout this out? That's the key question here. This isn't isolated. It's part of a growing global pushback against Trump's actions. So what's behind this? And more importantly, what does it mean for the future? Trump's backlash isn't just a few isolated moments. This is a full-scale global reaction. Take the protests in New Jersey at a Bruce Springsteen concert, for example. Springsteen took a direct shot at the Trump administration, calling out ICE and Border Patrol for their brutal tactics. The crowd, they erupted in applause. But here's what's important. This wasn't just about the protest. It's about the complete disconnection between Trump's regime and the people. He's being rejected not just in the US, but across the world. But notice what's missing from all this outrage: the silence from his supporters. Why aren't we seeing any vocal defense? What's happening behind the scenes that they don't want us to see? This is where the stakes get higher. As the anger against Trump spreads, the situation is only intensifying. Just think about the historical context, how quickly things are escalating. Remember when Barack Obama would show up at an NBA game or a college event, standing ovations, but Trump? Always booed. This isn't just a matter of political preference. It's becoming a systemic rejection of everything he represents. But it's not just the US. The world is pushing back. Just last weekend, protests erupted in Greenland, with people marching against Trump's threats to invade. And if you think this is all just noise, think again. This is the beginning of something much bigger. The more he pushes, the louder the resistance gets. Now, let's dig into some harder evidence. This isn't just about public opinion. This is about what Trump is actually doing. He's threatening Greenland's sovereignty, making moves that could trigger a global conflict. Just listen to what the people of Greenland are saying. We're not scared. We'll fight him to the end. And that's the kind of defiance that's starting to spread. But it gets worse. Just yesterday, Trump made a statement claiming that NATO's been warning Denmark about the Russian threat in Greenland for years, and now it's time to act. So, what happens when a sitting president disregards international sovereignty like this? What happens when a nation's leader is not only disconnected from his own people, but from the world? It's a move that could spark much more than protests. The pressure is building, and it's only going to escalate from here. And just when you think it can't get worse, it does. This isn't just one protest. This is a stack of crises happening in real time. People are standing up in Denmark, voicing their opposition. Protests in Greenland, the rising anger in Europe. At the same time, Trump's regime is facing major pushback domestically. Allegations of corruption, abuse of power, and financial mismanagement are piling up. His actions are becoming more erratic. The latest? Claims of using public funds for personal gain, and the question of whether he's planning something more extreme, like martial law or military intervention in the U.S. What happens if this continues? What happens when there's no control over a president who's losing support globally and domestically? It's a pressure cooker ready to blow. Now, let's bring this back to the people, because this is where it hits home. These aren't just abstract protests happening in far-off countries. This is about you and how it affects ordinary people every day. Imagine living in a country where your government is losing the support of the world. Prices are skyrocketing, your rights are being threatened, and your leaders are embroiled in scandal after scandal. What does that look like on the ground? It looks like confusion. It looks like fear. It looks like a nation unraveling. Whether it's rising food prices or the chaos within the government, this affects real people. If you recognize the strain, if this feels familiar, comment below. Let's talk about how it impacts you. This isn't just a headline, it's personal. But let's move beyond the outrage for a moment. Why is this happening? Why is it that Trump continues to push even when the world is turning against him? It's not just about personal ego. This is about power and the systems that allow these things to happen. Whether it's through manipulation, fear, or sheer spectacle, Trump has built a regime that thrives on creating chaos. But it's not just about him. It's about the people who enable him, the ones in power who benefit from the instability. The question is, what's their end game? Because one thing's clear, Trump isn't acting alone. The system itself is broken, and that's something no one's willing to talk about. The real story isn't just the man, it's the machinery that keeps him in power. So what's next? The world is watching and the pressure on Trump is mounting, but the future is uncertain. We could see more protests, more international resistance, but will it change anything? Or will the system double down, pushing for even more authoritarian control? We're at a crossroads and the choices ahead are crucial. One path leads to further division, more confrontation, and deeper global isolation. The other, a potential for reform, for a shift in power that could reshape the future of this presidency. The question is, what happens next? Is this the breaking point or just the beginning? The clock is ticking, and the next move is already taking shape. Here's the kicker. Whether you agree with him or not, Donald Trump is pushing the world to a tipping point. The real question we all need to ask is, what happens when a leader is not just rejected at home, but globally? The reverberations of this backlash are just beginning, and they won't stop here. But the bigger story is how much power systems like this can still hold, even when the world is turning against them. It's a moment that demands our attention, and we're only scratching the surface. To understand where this goes, we need to keep watching. If you want to stay on top of what happens next, hit subscribe and keep following. Trust me, you won't want to miss it.